Hey, what's up, everyone? Mike with Imperial Tropicals here on another fun Friday. So, a couple things. Last week, we talked about, we told everyone about the new building, and the building showed up yesterday. And in a few minutes, we'll walk out there and you guys could kind of see the progress. Last Friday, all you could see was the concrete pad, and it's pretty amazing how much they've got done just in the last 24 hours. So, we'll go show you. What's up, Oliver, Ahmad, Jack, Rini from the Netherlands? Wow, nice, nice. I'm trying to think what time it is in the Netherlands. I want to say it was like a 10-hour difference from our time here. So, what's up, Dave? Blitz Peacocks. So, you guys, Dave had a bad loss in his fish tanks, and the community wanted to come together and raise some money to get Dave some fish. And I was pretty impressed with how kind everybody was. And as soon as I seen Dave's post about him losing the fish, my first instinct was we need to send Dave some fish. And I was going to message him, and I said, well, let's give it a day or so, let his tank clear up. And by the time I even thought about sending the message or getting to it, the community came together and said, hey, how do we organize this and get Dave some fish? So um, we organized it, and we sent Dave a promo code for, I don't remember the total, 350. Wow, 15, 315. So Dave, you know, that's why it pays to be nice to people, man. Like, people on the page, they're all very nice, and this is the Facebook group. It's nice things happen to nice people. So, a couple shout outs. John says it's great to see the live broadcast. He says it's 6 p.m. in the Netherlands, so that's not too much of a jump then. It's noon here, so 6 hours. E Jazz, Russell Dell, Andreas from Puerto Rico. What's up, Puerto Rico? He says he hopes to visit us again. That's right. He came out, I think it was last year. I remember. I remember because he's like, "Yeah, man, I've been buying fish from you. You've been shipping them to Puerto Rico, and the fish are doing great." I tell you what, Andres, I don't know if it's you showing everybody or telling everybody, but we're getting a lot of people from Puerto Rico buying fish from us now, and it's nice. He wants to see the turkis and some Tanzanias again, the star sapphires. I should be able to do that. I'll try to get it in the greenhouse. It is very hot today because we haven't had any rain the last couple days, but I'll try to get it in the greenhouse and show them to you. What's up, Jermaine? What's up, James? What's up?
We had a request also through email that Bart Stewart wanted to see some Jaguar cichlids for this week's
Okay.
live feed, so I just wanted to pass it to you.
Are they in Miriam's room? Okay. So somebody had emailed us asking to see jaguars too. Uh, oh man, yeah. Well, if a fish, I'm answering Blitz Peacock's. He said he was supposed to be at work, but he had to bring his bicolor back to the local fish store. So if a fish isn't acting right in the big tank, I remember on the post you were saying that the fish seemed to be older and kind of a little bit less lethargic, and it very well could be internal parasites. John Tadicio is asking if we had gold head. Kenta Labamas. No, I mean, is that the gold head comps? Is that a location for the comps? I don't have them, but guess what, John? We will have a lot more fish in the future because I'm gonna go ahead and walk out there and show you guys the progress on the new building. So, A Bob is asking how the star sapphires are looking. We got some really nice star sapphires right now. Somebody else asked to see the Tanzanians, which are the star sapphires. So we'll try to whip in there and show you guys those guys. We're digging our ditches out this week. Let me flip the cam around. I can't see in the direct sunlight. Hold on. Doors nixed off, made it. You see where we've been digging the ditches out, right here by the building. Kind of got our roadway blocked right now, but once that stuff dries out, we'll start moving it out. We got to dig the ditches out, a couple times a year, just to keep during the rainy season, to keep the water flowing. And there's a series of ditches all through the property. And like I said, just when we're cleaning out ponds, a lot of them get filled up with sand and muck. So let's go take a look at the new building. So you guys seen where we were at last Friday, which was just a concrete pad. And the building started showing up yesterday. So hey, Russell Dell, we do have dwarf neon rainbows. So just they're on the website. If for some reason they show out of stock, make sure you shoot us an email. But they should be in stock. I know, right? That's awesome progress. I mean, the building started showing up yesterday, and these guys worked until about 7 p.m. last night. So I'm just gonna flip around at a different angle. Make sure I stay out of everybody's way. But yeah, they're getting with it. It's gonna be. We still got a lot to do though. A lot to do. I mean, once the construction guys get done, we're going to have to start with the plumbing, the electrical, building the racks. So, but pretty happy. Shouldn't say pretty happy. I'm extremely happy with the progress. So those gold head comps that you were talking about, we will have a lot more Tanganyikan fish, more Victorian, more Malawis, more Congo, more South American, more Centrals, German raised fish, Czech Republic raised fish. It's gonna be pretty exciting, guys. I couldn't see anything on the comments, so I'll try to go back and answer them. But I really need Angie to tell me where her fish are. So let me do the best that I can until Angie gets back. Like here's some of the Turkish, but these are all juvies. They're like 2.5 inches, not quite colored up yet. Females are showing some color, but most of them are like 2.5 inches. Lemon jakes, Eureka reds, J-Lo reefs, Benjis. This looks like some of the star sapphires. Let's see. So this is these are right at 4 inches. See if I can get this guy in front of the camera. So right at 4 inches. Usually we don't start seeing the chips on them until they get a little bit bigger than that. I'd say, it's more of an age factor, we believe, with getting the chips. But usually 4 inches, you'll start seeing one chip here and there. But usually about 5 inches, you start really seeing the chips. So bigger Turkish, I don't know that we've got any bigger Turkish inside. Some of the dragon bloods. except our breeders. So let me see what else Angie's got in here. All in the middle of all that, brought in some big red shoulder peacocks. So people were asking what just came in from the pond. These red shoulders just came in. I'm gonna have to ask Angie. She's the one that takes care of these guys. I think this is the Rican Reds is what it's looking like. You can see some big males on those guys right there. And that's another thing, guys, that big building out there that you see going up, we're going to have like a tank full of red shoulder males, a tank full of albino sunshines, you know, a tank full of mabinjis, you know, a tank full of all the fish that we breed and sell. We're going to have in an aquarium. So when you're like, hey, can you show me the new fish that you got, or what'd you bring in this week? It's easy for me to flip on the camera and walk down the row of tanks, and you know, I have all these, you know, big 125 set up, and you'll be able to see these fish like in an ideal setting. You know, like in a vat, it's kind of hard for me to show you what they look like, you know, because you can't see over the top of the water. Angie, they're asking about Turkish peacocks. Do we have any sellers? I've seen the 2.5 inchers. Do you have any bigger ones in there, or just the breeders? Yeah, yeah. You getting a lot of fry?
Yeah. There's some ruby reds and Turkish.
There's some
albinos in here.
on the ruby reds.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So there's some Turkish fry, ruby red fry. So
Just tank Albus and litho beads.
nice. So the fry are really doing good right now, right?
Yeah. A lot of all them ruby red.
Some small fry here that she just pulled. Those look like they're yellow already. So is that yellow labs in that one? Yeah. And then I'm going to show you guys the jaguars, and then I'm going to go back to the office so my phone does not overheat. So the jaguars we get them from a local friend of ours that breeds them, and we use most of our local fish come from. This is another problem. You'll see my signal drop here in a minute about it. So these are like 2-inch jaguars right now. You see them all hiding in the back. But you can also see that we have a hard time showing you guys the fish in these tanks. This tank's pretty clean. You can see this one pretty good, but a lot of these tanks are really old, and they have a lot of calcium on them just from over the years. Red and blue neons. I mean, you can't even hardly see in these tanks from the calcium. Mostly just snails in those tanks, but it's going to be nice to have new tanks where I can walk in there and show you guys the fish just like I'm about to do on these new rainbows. We got some new rainbows in this week, so let's go take a look at the rainbows. And like I said, in the new building, the tanks will be set up like they are over here in this room that I'm about to take you to. All right, so this is Joe's room, and this is the breeding room, but we also have a lot of sellers in here. So everybody say hey to Joe. What new rainbows we got in here? So multi-chromata. This is a new rainbow to us. We have never had it before, and they're big. They're probably, what do you think, 4 inches?
That was 3.5 or 4.
Yeah. So we're going to give them probably another week, I would think, before they're ready for sale. And where's the other one? Oh yeah, just so you guys know, that's the name, Multisquamata. And this is the Dubulea Melantona.
A crimson cheek.
Crimson
Crimson
cheek.
spot. Crimson spot.
Yeah,
You can see the spot on their cheeks.
yeah.
That red spot.
All right, guys, sorry about that. Man, we had a gentleman that he's been emailing us, and man, I haven't emailed him back. He wants to come down here. I think he was in Michigan, and he wants to come down here, volunteer his time to help us set up some Wi-Fi. And I need to email him back because I know I'm really busy, but it's going to be really important for us to get that Wi-Fi situation fixed up. Susan, that's a good idea. A cold pack and a towel for the phone. I think I probably could put a ice pack and a towel right here on my stabilizer, but that's for overheating. So for the bad signal, I mean, I'm on like whatever Verizon 4G is, you know. Dang, Ahmad coming through with the donation. That's awesome, man. Thanks you, Ahmad. I appreciate it, man. We got a lot to pay for. Um, a lot to pay for. That building, um, it's got a big bill attached to it. So, I'm just, I'm counting on the fish world to support us, and you guys have, and that's how we've been able to get to where we are, is from your guys' support and working hard and grinding it out every day. So it's not been an easy road, but I wouldn't trade it for nothing. So Russell Dell's asking how big does a Christmas spot get? So the breeder is a good friend of mine. He said he grew them up for a year and a half to get to the size that they are. So he said they're slow growing. So I don't know. I mean, I could not imagine them getting much past 4 inches, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some information on the web. It's a fairly new rainbow or rare rainbow. Because I had never seen it until my friend was telling me he was breeding them. So I could ask him, what the expectation for sizes on them. Also, the Rainbow group on Facebook is really good. A lot of our people are on that page. I'm on that page. And, Gary Lang is also on that page. And Gary Lang, I'm sure, would know what size that they would get. Manny Martins said he missed last week but heard the news. Congrats, man. I appreciate that, Manny. Thank you. It's pretty exciting. Jeff Sorensen said need a Wi-Fi extender out in the buildings. Yeah, I had a Wi-Fi extender, and it helped for like areas that the extender's in, but a couple people said mesh technology. The guy from Michigan, he says he does it for a living, and he says he had some technology, that was out there for the Wi-Fi that would he felt like would work. So Susan Everett, I see she's commenting about Joe. I'm just going back reading some of those old questions. Rebecca Burdett, Taiwan Reefs regulars. Getting close, Rebecca. They're growing. The last time we checked them, they were like at, just over 2 inches. And with the kind of weather that we're having, which is ideal conditions, it should be coming in really quick. So um, Glenn Norton is getting on everybody. 52 watching, 25 likes. Hit the button. So thank you. Joseph's on. He says, "Where do you come off starting the show without me?" Hey, you gotta be ready. Andy's asking about, do we ever get captive bred Altums? So we've never have. I've gotten wild types many times, but I've never gotten tank raised. Dang, Michael Core with the donation, $5. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, man. It has helped support me in my habits of being a fish addict myself. So thank you. Nicole Johnson's here. She's late, but she's here. Nice. Um, so back to the Ultims. So in Europe, there's a few people breeding them. I heard there was a guy in Texas that had success breeding them. Um, I think it was the Czech Republic that had success, a breeder in the Czech. So I would imagine in the future that you will see tank raised ones available. I believe one of the angelfish sellers in the U.S. brought some in about a year ago. There was some controversy over, you know, who had them and how they paid for them and all that. But I do know some have hit the U.S. market. So I'm hoping in the future that there will be more tank raised Altims available. I do have a few people that are working on them. So, dang, Joseph with the donation. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. Joseph, I'm really looking forward to the aquatic experience, man. We're going to have a good time. So, can't wait to meet all you guys in person. So, Scott, I think I'm saying his last name, Scott Lesma. He actually came out. He's from Indiana. He's probably not on the live feed now, but he's on our Fun Friday page and everything else. He actually came out today and visited us, and we that was pretty cool, to have somebody, from Pennsylvania come by for the first time. Um, about the Altums, you know, we will be bringing in wild caught Altums, but as you guys know, that they're very sensitive when you first bring them in. But I brought them in before in the past, and I've had good success getting them healthy and sending them out to people. So, I do. We will have Altums in the future. Hopefully, tank raised ones also. Blitz Peacock says he's got some Hex Shield. So Hex Shield, I'm pretty sure, is for Hexamita, and that should have metronidazole in it, and that is a good safe treatment to treat your fish with. Will Diaz says he's in Orlando next week. Am I far from there? Heck no, man. I'm like 30 minutes from Orlando, depending on what part of Orlando you're in. But no, that's close, man. So definitely will come by and see us, man. Aaron with the donation. Man, I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's from Canada too, I think. CA. Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. We are shipping into Canada, and that's really starting to pick up. Like the first week, we had an order. The first week, like maybe two the next, and now we're starting to see a lot of orders roll in from Canada. So that's pretty cool. Daniel Williams says, "What's up, Mike? Fish came in great. Thanks again." Oh man, no problem, Daniel. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support, man. Jeff Swanson says he asked if I would be interested in some Travasi juveniles. I do have some breeding. I really need to check with Angie and find out how we're doing on breeders because I know we have a pretty big group. So, and the Travasis that we have breeding are really nice, man. That orange blotch look to them is really unique. A little bit different than most of the Travasis that I see out there. So, but email us and I check with Angie and ask her. And also, Jeff, just so you know, in the future, man, in the new building, I am going to be coordinating with a lot of the hobbyists that breed fish in their house, and we are going to be buying juvies from hobbyists because there's so many great fish keepers out there in the U.S. that have fry and juvies, and we're definitely going to be working with a lot of hobbyists on moving their juvies. So Joseph says he's got his fish today. He said thanks, Angie. Use a few less rubber bands next time. Joe, they know that they got to wrap tight. So I don't know how many rubber bands she put on them, but it's better safe than sorry is our motto. Giovanni says that's awesome. Yeah, I've got a lot of hobbyists now waiting for me to have the space. I've got a good friend, Andre, that is breeding a lot of really nice Africans that we don't have, and we're going to be working with him. So, all right, I'm gonna try to get back to some of these questions that I missed early on. Glenn Norton says he's sorry I'm late. Hello all. Russell Dell's asking about rainbows that can live in a 20 tall. 20 tall doesn't have a lot of surface area, but there's definitely some of the thread fins and some of the smaller types that can do a 20-gallon tank. Even dwarf neon rainbows would do good. Dang, Will Diaz with the donation. Wow, guys, man, you guys are awesome, man. I don't know what to say, man, except thank you, Will. Um, Long Beach in New York City says, hope in the new future, after the new building is complete, you will have some African types like Walter Eye, one of my favorites, Fireline Mulattoes, one of my favorites, Midnight Peacocks. We're breeding two of those three already. So the only ones, the Walter Eye, I do not have the Walter Eye, but that is one of my favorites. Every year at the OCA, there was a Walter Eye that was put in the show every year that just always just blew me away. I'm like, man, I've got to get some Walter Eyes going. So, um, Dickie Rock Hill Lump says hey Mike, like to see what fish you have in the ponds. So a lot of the fish you see in the greenhouses on our website, they're also in the ponds. It's kind of hard for me to show you what's in the ponds. I think a few weeks ago, I went around to the ponds as Angie was feeding, and I showed some of the ponds off. But if you think it's hard to see them in a vat, in a pond, it's even harder. I mean, you're talking like a 30,000-gallon pond that is not clear typically, um, and it's hard to see them in the pond. But there might be I'm hoping to get time where I could just do some videos, not live, but some regular videos that when we're seining and doing stuff like that, that I could show you guys the process. We do have quite a few videos on YouTube of us seining fish and bringing them in, but I mean, we're literally seining 7, 8 ponds a week probably. So I don't have a lot of them, but we do have some videos of us seining. When's the new YouTube beard channel coming? I don't know. I got enough to keep up with this channel. I've got my own personal channel that I don't even keep up with. So right now I need to kind of button down what I've got and do the best on those two before starting a new one. So Thomas Collins 150 pond. Love it. So yeah, it's somebody posted on the group. How many gallons of water do you have? And you know, um, it's over 4 million gallons. I haven't calculated all of my aquariums I have, but you know, 500 vats, 200 gallons each. I probably have about 200 aquariums that are 30 gallons or so. So Aaron Mills said he seen me at Interstate this week. Was too busy to say hi. Maybe next time for sure, Aaron. Man, I I think we've met once. I want to say once when you were with David, but I see your other brothers, and I always get you guys mixed up. So it'd be nice to put a face with the name. So make sure you give me a shout next time you see me. John Mayberry. Yeah, that's the downside about the live feeds because I did a live feed. I've done a few live feeds of us cleaning the ponds, but I don't do a very good job going back and putting a description after the live feed. And I think that's where I kind of could do a better job is on each live feed, have a description with what the live feed was about. But I'll be honest with you folks, I'm so busy. I kind of wing it every Friday, like, all right, guys, what do you want to see today? And talk about what's going on here at Imperial. Oh, Ahmad, see, Ahmad just is helping me out there, and I appreciate Ahmad. We, in our Imperial Tropicals Fish Keepers group, I don't know if we hit 2,000 yet or we're right at 2,000, but we're going to be doing a giveaway. So make sure you join the Imperial Fish Keepers group on Facebook because we're going to be doing a giveaway. In fact, we'll do the giveaway today. I'll post up about it, and um, we've been talking about how we're going to do the giveaway. I think we're just going to allow people to comment, and we assign them a number, and then we do a random number generator to find out who wins the promo code. So we are doing a giveaway. Dolly Vigil, any upcoming events in the East Coast? Yes, we do. Next month, we will be in Connecticut for the American Cichlid Association. So I will try to post that up on the Facebook group page also. But we will be in Connecticut July. I don't know what time of July. I think the middle of July. So Thomas says we're at 1,984 people. So getting close to 2,000. Daniel Williams is asking if we're looking for help. Would love to help out. Work for Imperial. Email us. Right now, we are not looking for help at this moment, but as soon as the building is up, we're definitely going to be adding a few people. So email us, send us your you know work history, and resume. Resume helps because then we know who we're talking to and what we think would be best. So. Dennis McKay, any nice Dovies? Yes, we got some really nice Dovi. We like the Dovies, and we breed a lot of Dovies. So I think last week I showed the Dovies off on the live feed. I think about every week somebody's like, "Hey, let me see the Dovi." So we have some really nice Dovi. We also have a video on YouTube of us seining in our Dovies. So we do have some nice Dovi. All right. Cat says he's here, but he's late. Dang, Nick Q with $10. Nick, man, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Nick. Like I said, I don't know if I'll ever get used to that, man. Just the kindness of people. Um, that's very nice. Jose Ortiz, hello, man. I was about to say Ortiz like Big Poppy. Bang Bang says, hey, bro, do you have to worry about snakes in your ponds? How do you control the situation? Um, there's snakes everywhere. So we have a lot of the water banded snakes, black snakes. We've seen some pygmy rattlers. Not we haven't in a long time, but we've seen some of the indigo snakes, which are really rare. Um, Rattlesnakes. We've had a few rattlesnakes on the property, not too many. Cottonmouths. We've not recently, but in the past we've found some cottonmouths, but strangely enough, not around the ponds. Usually the cottonmouths are up here around the buildings, and it hasn't happened very often, luckily, because those guys can be very aggressive. So Tom's asking about reticulated pythons. Not in my area. About, I'd say, 30 minutes south of here, they've caught some pythons, but most of that is in South Florida. So it gets a little bit too cold up here. So Dennis McKay's asking about, can you tell us about your auctions? I haven't done an auction in quite some time, so they were exciting. People like them. Maybe in the new warehouse, we'll start doing some auctions, some what you see, what you get type auctions. But usually, we just post them up on Facebook, or I think Facebook was typically where we did the auctions, and we would let people bid, and then after so many hours, the bid would end. So here he's ETEP says indigos are federally protected. They usually go for a lot. CAD. Yeah, they're rare. As a kid, we used to see them a lot. I say a lot, more often than we do now. But I remember as a kid, I'd catch like 5 foot indigos, and I remember people that were not around snakes, they would kind of freak out. I was probably 12 years old holding this 5 foot, indigo, and they're really cool snakes, man, because they're fast, so they're not easy to catch. But I've never been bit by one, and they'd be crawling all around me. So, oh dang. Susan says there's a lot of rain and the snakes are coming in the house. Yeah, the rat snakes are here also. Make sure nobody kills the rat snake. They're good snakes. I like them. They're good. Oliver said there's a video with me catching the snake. Let's find that link. Yeah, I got a video. I think that one's on my personal page. But yeah, I caught a banded water snake, and one of the, in fact, it was in our breeding room, and he was not too happy. They will bite, not poisonous, but they will bite. Medina Ciclet, happy fun Friday. Yeah, Ian Broom. We were putting out some of the mothballs in the greenhouse, or not in the greenhouse, in a box room, but mostly it was for like mice and stuff like that. But yeah, I've heard it also helps keep snakes out. All right, I'm gonna scroll down quickly before I lose it and try to answer. I know somebody had mentioned Canada, about if we ship to Canada. I think it was. Um, David Coomer, how come you don't sell Zare fronts and breed them or wild caught? So I do have a few types. I have the Mbembe's breeding, Burundis, and that's the only two that I've got. So right now, David, it's tank space. Once I get tanks, you're going to see a lot more fronts from us. We love those fish. All right, so all right, man, I've been bouncing around with all these questions. So try and scroll back. Jack says he needs an albino Turkish. We're working on it. We're breeding them. We're getting quite a bit of fry, so we just need them to grow. Tom, about spray foam on the whole building. I agree, man. It would insulate it very, very well. I just don't have the budget for the spray foam right now. We are just going to insulate it with some heavy duty wall foam, but it's I agree, the spray foam is really good. So Ian Broom says his grandfather was Maynard Cox, the Snake Man. That's the reason I know. Oh yeah, so he's a, yep, I've heard that name before. So here he's Hetep says it's awesome. They're two inbred up here for for fertility issues. Yeah, and what's sad is Florida is getting so developed that a lot of the snakes are getting pushed out of their natural habitat. So all right, so it popped me all the way down to the bottom. So James saying so everything's back in stock next week, right? No, no, I wish, man. We're working on it. We're working on it. So. Um, Sean Ellison, happy Friday. What's going to be pulled from the pond and freshly available soon? I showed you the red shoulders and Eureka Reds. I'm gonna have to find out from Angie what they're bringing in. I know they're bringing in rainbows this week. I know they brought in some Carpentis, some Centrals. So, uh, 10 Sirdur is asking, I would like to talk to you somehow. I want to order 30 cichlets, but I have some questions about it. Hey, email us is the best way. You won't catch me in the office very often, but email us and we'll try to answer your questions. And if I get time, I could call you. But I just, the problem is I don't have a lot of time. So but email us. We can answer. We do that all day, every day. Answer questions. Um, Rennie is Gonzalez is saying, let's talk Dovi, Wolfpack. Hey, I love the Dovi. Our good friend, who was it that lost his Dovi? Javier. Javier lost his Dovi. He had a big male Dovi that we gave him probably about 2 years ago, and he ended up having, a technical problem in his fish room, and he lost it. So. What's up, Larry Deskin, Sean Ellison, Rika Reds on fire. They are, man. I love those Rika Reds that we got. They're looking nice. took us a couple generations to get them really nice and red, but they're doing really, really well. Uh, I showed the Star Sapphire. Jessica Sorensen from South Carolina. What's up? Greg here. Um, all right, guys. I'm trying to go all the way down to the bottom, but I'm losing my comments. They're all the way up top, and I wish YouTube had an easier way to keep up with the comments. But when I went outside in the greenhouse, I lost a lot of them. Dang! Look who just commented, guys. Sierra Melton says, "Hey, I'm late. LOL. Finally taking a Friday off next week, but we'll be in the Keys, heading there after work today. Well, visiting us, going to the Keys. Go to the Keys." So, our girl Sierra, she was on last week too. That's 2 weeks in a row, guys. Man, got y'all need to talk to her and tell her to be full time again. We need her. So, Fun for Fun is asking a silly question. Sierra's saying, "Wish me luck." So Sierra, my good friend Brandon was down there last week, and man, the dolphins that he caught were huge, and it's the first time he'd ever caught them. So the fish are biting really good because, like I said, I just had a friend that was down in the Keys, and just the last couple of days, and they just tore them up. I mean, they limited out within an hour or two of being out there. So good luck. Yeah, that's what he caught was the Maui were down there running, and he caught some big ones too. So they tore them up. So they're moving. They're down there migrating or whatever they're doing this time of year. So Larry's saying, "Come to SoCal. We're killing the tunas, man. I love to catch some tuna. I love tuna. So fun. I think fun has lost his mind." uh, so. See, Larry says you need her back. I do. I need her to come do a fun Friday with me. Dennis McKay, guys, I had another phone call. Hey, what happens when I get a phone call? I've never watched one of my live videos after I do them, so I don't know what happens, but I get phone calls sometimes whenever I get when I'm doing the live feed, but I don't know if it just pauses it. Um, Oliver's saying it just spins, so it stops working. It does. So I always wonder, like, man, what does it do to the live feed whenever I get a phone call? So Alan says it acts like no signal. Huh, crazy. I never freezes for a millisecond and continues. Yeah, usually when it pops up a phone call, I just hit the automated text response and say, "Sorry, I can't talk right now," but I was kind of curious. Never actually watched one of my live feeds before. I don't know. I just probably be too critical for myself and be like, "Man, you shouldn't have said that, or you shouldn't have showed that, or you shouldn't have did that." So I'm like, I just let it fly. So, well, guys, I showed you some fish. I showed you the new building. I got a lot to do today still. So we got it's kind of cool. We got a big convention tomorrow for the Florida fish farmers. All right, so I'm on the board of directors for the FTFFA, which is the Association of Fish Farmers here in Florida. And tomorrow we have our yearly meeting. It'll be a dinner. It'll be um, it'll be nice. I get to see a lot of my friends in the industry and get to talk fish with them. So it's a good time. So I've got that tomorrow. No baseball this weekend. Last weekend, I didn't even tell everybody. Last weekend we had the All-Star tournament with my son, and it was awesome. All right, we ended up second place, but we beat some really good teams, and I was real proud of my Cole because Cole was like super pumped for that tournament because he had been working really hard to get good, and he actually led the team off. He was the leadoff guy, and he ended up batting, I think, 3 for 7 with I think he had 4 walks, 1 hit by pitch. So every game he either let off with a hit or a walk, and we were facing the top teams around Central Florida, our area, and he did really good. So I was real proud of Cole last weekend. He worked his butt off, and so no baseball this weekend. And then he got invited to a tournament the following weekend in Clearwater. So we're going to be driving over to Clearwater, and Cole's going to be in a tournament, and then also my youngest son Jackson got invited to play with the travel ball team. So he's going to be playing in his first travel ball tournament that same weekend as Cole. So so we just thought we were going to take a break. Um, you know, the family was like, yeah, they're like, what happened to the break? I'm like, we took a break. We haven't had baseball in like 3 days. So Kat's asking if I'm a Rays fan. I do like the Rays, but I don't like the owners. Okay, so I don't like the owners of any of these organizations. They're not loyal to the local people. First of all, they built that stadium in St. Pete, which is like a long ways from where the main population around here live. I mean, they're called the Tampa Bay Rays, yet they're in St. Pete. And I just read on the news this morning that the owner is thinking about splitting the Rays season. Half the year they're going to be in St. Pete, and the other half of the year they're going to be in Montreal, Canada. How are you going to move our team to Montreal? So not a big fan of the ownership. But I'll say this about the Tampa Bay Rays is, man, they're always competing, for the playoffs to get in the playoffs. And sorry guys, I had another phone call. But the bigger market teams, I mean, the Yankees payroll's like $1 billion or something ridiculous, and then the Rays have just a small payroll. But Cat, I agree, man. They're good this year. They're playing good ball. I think they're in second place behind the Yankees. They're ahead of Boston. But you see the Yankees are buying some of the top players right now, and I'm sure Boston's going to be spending money too. So it's hard for these small market teams to keep up with those big teams. I don't watch a lot of professional sports anymore, but I do like the way the NFL has a salary cap, so you can have a small market team and compete with the big market teams, and I think baseball should do the same thing. Um, but Medina's saying originally San Fran was going to, bring their team to Florida, and that's when they expanded the league and added some teams. So, well, cool guys. I got some phone calls. Obviously, I got a call back. So you guys, Larry, we're not getting Mike Trout. I wish, man. I love Mike Trout. That guy plays hard. No matter how much money he makes, he plays hard. I like that. So, guys, enjoy your weekend. I'll keep you updated with what's going on around here. So, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for buying our fish and supporting us. So, I can't say enough, how much, that means to me. So, thank you. Have a good weekend. See you.